Looking for the best GPUs for the Ryzen 5 9600X? If you don't want to overspend, the Ryzen 5 9600X, with its 6 cores and 12 threads build, offers the best of both worlds, incredible single-threaded performance, as well as strong multi-threaded performance. To help you pick the right GPU, I've done the research and picked the two best options for the 9600X. One for those who need a very affordable but decent GPU, and another one which I consider the best GPU to pair with this CPU. Price information and all graphics cards mentioned in the video are available in the description. Starting with the best budget option, we have the Acer Nitro OC Arc B570. Who would have thought a few years ago that the best combo for a budget PC would be an AMD CPU with an Intel GPU? Yet, here we are. The Ryzen 5 9600X and the Acer Nitro OC Arc B570 make up quite a good pairing as a budget gaming and workstation combo. In the looks department, the Acer Nitro B570 awkwardly reminds me of Sapphire's Nitro series of cards, but it does have an identity of its own. I'm not sure whether it was a coincidence that it looks like Sapphire's design, but I'm glad that Acer has learnt the best lessons and put them to good use. Not only is the Nitro B570 a good-looking card, the cooler itself is impressive, keeping the GPU under 56 degrees Celsius under a full load, while the fans only make about 35 decibels of noise. This card is also small and compact, taking up just 2 PCIe slots without extending into the third, and is under 11 inches long, so it should easily fit inside any PC case. In terms of performance, the Arc B570 puts up a great fight against the much more expensive RTX 5060 and RX 9060 XT 8GB, and the best part about the B570 is that it has a total of 10GB of VRAM. Despite being slightly less powerful than both the GPUs, the B570's extra VRAM always comes in handy as games have started to use more than 8GB of VRAM. The B570 also makes slightly older AMD and Nvidia cards like the RX 7600 and RTX 4060 look bad. It's a shame that Nvidia and AMD are still stuck with 8GB for such a long time, but thankfully this gave Intel the opportunity to swoop in and save the day. In seriously demanding games like Stalker 2 and Black Myth Wukong, the B570 can average between 60 to 70 FPS at 1080p with medium settings and XeSS enabled. This is simply due to the nature of unoptimized Unreal Engine 5 games. You need to stick to medium settings for the best performance while maintaining visual fidelity. Thankfully, most games play really well on the B570. Cyberpunk 2077 runs at 1080p with high settings at around 80 FPS, and The Last of Us plays well at 60 FPS with a mix of high and medium settings. The B570 even has room for ray tracing, which means that if you need to play a game that has mandatory ray tracing, like Doom: The Dark Ages or Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, the B570 can easily play them at high settings with around 45 to 50 FPS. Other than just gaming, the B570 has the Intel Media Encoder, which is undoubtedly one of the fastest 4K video encoders. You get excellent AV1 support for both encoding and decoding, along with the large 10GB VRAM to fit in larger project files that may crash 8GB cards. Now, even with all the great things about the B570, there are a few things you need to keep in mind. Firstly, since it's still Intel's early attempt at making GPUs, the drivers may not be the most stable compared to AMD and Nvidia. The drivers also have significant CPU overhead, and the performance scales up or down depending on how powerful your CPU is. If you pair the B570 with an older CPU like the Ryzen 5 3600, you may see half the potential performance. Pairing the B570 with something super fast like the Ryzen 5 9600X or Core i5 14400 is the way to go. In conclusion, if you need a budget GPU to pair with the Ryzen 5 9600X, the best choice right now is the Acer Nitro OC Arc B570. At its price point, it's one of the absolute best GPUs out there for new budget gamers. To sum up, what I like is that it's excellent at 1080p even with ray tracing, the 10GB VRAM buffer, and the super fast media encoder for 4K video editing. On the downside, poor performance on older systems, and driver overhead requires a decent CPU. Next, the best card to pair with the 9600X is the Gigabyte Gaming Radeon RX 9060 XT 16GB. The Ryzen 5 9600X and the Gigabyte Gaming RX 9060 XT are a match made in heaven. Together, they offer the best possible combo for building a top-notch 1440p monster for around $1,000. The design of this card is pretty much exactly what I asked for. If you need to add more metal to the heatsink, just make the card longer instead of making it thicker. So this card is not thicker than 2 PCIe slots and is 11 inches long. It has 3 fans with an air pass-through cutout, which helps reduce temperatures a lot while keeping the card nice and quiet. The card never goes above 60 degrees Celsius and even stays closer to 50 degrees in most games. Performance-wise, the 9060 XT is quite a game changer. You can easily run any game at 1440p with maxed out graphics settings and enjoy a smooth 60 FPS in any game. And it isn't just good at rasterization, it's the perfect entry card for ray tracing without sacrificing performance. Cyberpunk 2077 runs incredibly well at around 50 FPS with ray tracing enabled at 1440p with ultra quality settings and FSR enabled. Not only is the 9060 XT superb for 1440p ray tracing, it also has 2 more goodies, FSR 4 and AMD's new media encoder. FSR 4 is a huge leap in visual clarity because it's AI-based, unlike AMD's older upscaling tech, which means almost no difference in quality from native resolution with extra performance. Combined with AMD's latest media engine, this is sure to become a popular card for professional creatives and especially game streamers. No more blocky streams from now on. In terms of competition, the 9060 XT 16GB stays neck and neck against the RTX 5060 Ti 16GB. No matter what game you play, both of these GPUs are going to be nearly identical. Sometimes the 5060 Ti wins, sometimes the 9060 XT wins, but both with very slim margins. The biggest advantage of the 9060 XT is that it's massively available at or close to the manufacturer's suggested price, which is something that cannot be said for the 5060 Ti. The RTX 5060 Ti is consistently more expensive than the 9060 XT. If you are considering the 5060 Ti because you think that NVIDIA's implementation of certain features, like real-time ray tracing, AI-based upscaling, and video encoding are better, the good news is that AMD has seriously caught up, and this should really worry NVIDIA. Although I have been praising this card non-stop, I do think that there's no such thing as a perfect GPU. I think Gigabyte could have made a shorter card, which would have made this 9060 XT even more accessible for smaller cases. And the other thing of note is that although AMD has improved a lot on their features that are not only limited to gaming, NVIDIA is still the better choice if you need a reliable card not only for gaming, but for work as well. The AI capabilities of the 5060 Ti are immense and are on the same level as the RTX 4080. At the end of the day, if you need a rock-solid card for gaming with a massive 16GB VRAM that's friendly on the wallet, then the Gigabyte Gaming RX 9060 XT is the clear choice. At its current price, it's the best value being offered by any new graphics card right now. To sum up, what I like is the incredible 1440p performance even with ray tracing, the quiet and cool operation, the AI-based upscaling with FSR 4, and the massively improved media encoder for 4K editing and streaming. On the downside, it still lags behind NVIDIA in AI and productivity apps. Thanks for watching. Remember, you can check prices in the description below.